Good morning, Year 9. Hello, welcome to your first proper lesson on speech writing. So today we're going to have a look at a very famous speech. You did your vocab yesterday from it. There is a picture of Martin Luther King Jr. giving his famous speech. So we're going to have a look at his speech today, and we're going to pick out some of the techniques that he uses that make it so powerful and persuasive. So this is what we're doing today, identifying and understanding the features of a great speech. So first question for you, let's get rid of my face. What makes a good speech? So just pause the video, have a little think, maybe do a little brainstorm in your book. What do you think makes a good speech? Okay. I think there are two magic ingredients of a brilliant, great, persuasive speech. So this is what I'd like you to write down, please. The two magic ingredients are a great script. Seems really sensible and common sense when you say it. So a great script, using persuasive techniques, short sentences, hard-hitting vocabulary. Number two, fantastic delivery. Speaking loud, clear, with passion, loudly and clearly. You can have the best script in the world, but if people can't hear you or understand you, then your message is not going to get across. And actually, conversely, you can have a pretty badly written speech, actually, but if it's delivered well, you can sort of get away with it. So great script and fantastic delivery. So today we're going to focus on techniques. We're going to focus on the first of those two, a great script using particular persuasive techniques. We have done some persuasive work before, persuasive writing, reading. You would have been doing your public speaking competition had we been in school, but you're not going to get away with not doing a bit of public speaking, even if it is giving me a script. So think back to when we've done persuasive writing, opinionated writing, getting your point across, making yourself understood and heard. What techniques can you remember? Pause the video, write down as many as you can remember. Hint, you may have used an acronym called A-FOREST. You may have done that. But for speaking, yeah, kind of the same, a couple of different ones. Okay, today we're going to learn a cool way to remember them. And when a teacher says something is cool, you know it's going to be cool. Okay, fear. I love this cat. This is the fear cat. I love this cat. That cat is enough to strike fear even into Mr. Spencer's cold heart, I think. Right, fear. Each one of these letters, F-E-A-R-R-R, each one of these stands for a certain particular technique, and you need to be using at least three of these techniques in your speech to make it super effective. So what are these techniques I hear you call? Here they are. Facts and opinions. Please write this down. And then E is emotive language. Language that is designed to elicit an emotional response. So making your audience feel perhaps sad or sympathetic or pitiful or angry or guilty, perhaps. Address the audience. In a speech, you are usually standing in front of your audience. They are looking at you and you are looking at them. So you can't pretend they're not there. So you must say, hello, I am here today to talk to you about this. We need to come together. This is down to us talking to them individually or as a group. Repetition. 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 You say it once, you say it twice, you say it 3 times. Rhetorical question. How can you argue with that? Question mark. Rhetorical question. Forces your audience to engage. And the last R is your rule of 3. Say it once, say it twice, say it 3 times. I am here to make sure that you understand, agree with me, and take action. 1, 2. It's just 3 things in a row. So pause the video. Make sure you write these down. Facts and opinions, emotive language, address the audience, repetition, rhetorical questions, rule of 3. Now, these aren't the only techniques. Obviously, when you're standing up and delivering a speech, you also have timing and pace and tone of voice and volume of your voice and hand gestures and moving around the stage and up and down and pointing at people. But at the moment, we're just looking at our written techniques. So you're going to need at least 3 of these to make your speech great. So once you've got those written down, you can move on. So what we're going to do is we are going to read an extract from probably one of the most famous speeches ever made. Hopefully you did your homework on Monday, which was the vocab task, because lots of the words in this speech are ones that you would have needed to understand in your vocab. And also, hopefully, some of you watched the YouTube clip of Martin Luther King actually giving this speech. So, on Show My Homework, I've included for you, uploaded for you, a PDF of the extract that we're going to read. So if you can have that in front of you, or maybe have a look at it after you've watched this video. And if you can't underline it or highlight it, perhaps you can just write down the bits, copy out the bits, or maybe take a photo of it on your phone and annotate it on your phone. But what I would like you to do is try and pick out all the persuasive fear techniques that you can find in I Have a Dream. So that's the first thing we're going to do. So let's do that together right now. So here we go. So this is the extract that I'm going to read through with you now. And as I'm reading it, see if you can pick out the facts, opinions, emotive language, addressing the audience, rhetorical questions, repetition, and rule of 3. So here we go. I have a dream that one day this nation will rise up and live out the true meaning of its creed. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men are created equal. I have a dream. Hopefully you're spotting the repetition here. That one day, on the red hills of Georgia, the sons of former slaves and the sons of former slave owners will be able to sit down together at the table of brotherhood. I have a dream that one day, even in the state of Mississippi, a state sweltering with the heat of injustice, sweltering with the heat of oppression, will be transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the colour of their skin, but by the content of their character. You'll notice colour is spelt the American way here, without a U, because it's an American speech. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day, down in Alabama, with its vicious racists, with its governor having his lips dripping with the words of interposition and nullification, one day, right there in Alabama, little black boys and black girls will be able to join hands with little white boys and white girls as sisters and brothers. I have a dream today. I have a dream that one day every valley shall be exalted, and every hill and mountain shall be made low. The rough places will be made plain, and the crooked places will be made straight, and the glory of the Lord shall be revealed, and all flesh shall see it together. Whoa, that's quite impressive, isn't it? Hopefully you've spotted most of the techniques that we were just talking about. So once you've found your techniques, can you just highlight it, underline it, whatever, and then write the name of that technique down. And if you're writing this on paper or in your book, just make sure you identify the technique. You don't need to do all of them, but repetition, I have a dream. Hopefully you've got that one. So you'll write I have a dream, and then next to it, repetition. And then what I think I'll do is go through it with you. on my screen as well so that we can have a look at it together. Okay, so let's do that. We've got time. Okay, so let's have a look at this together. If I just make it a bit bigger, how's that? Can you see that? I hope you can see that. Right. So obviously we've got I have a dream, 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 I have a dream. Every single paragraph starts, I have a dream, I have a dream, I have a dream. So repetition, definitely. What about facts and opinions? Well, there aren't stated facts as such. I mean, this is a quote, isn't it? Which I suppose you could say that's a fact. But his opinion is well stated. This is his dream that former slaves and former slave owners can sit down together. That's what he wants to happen. They will be able to sit down together. His opinion is that at the bottom, black and white people will be able to be as brothers and sisters, sort of treated the same and be equal. In terms of emotive language, I think there's quite a lot of emotional language here. Even the use of the word slaves and slave owners is quite emotional, don't you think? And then when he talks about the state of Mississippi, one which had slavery for a very, very long time, and people in Mississippi weren't very keen to give up slavery, and he uses these lovely adjectives, these beautiful metaphors. The state is sweltering with the heat of injustice and sweltering with the heat of oppression, being transformed into an oasis of freedom and justice. So sweltering, hopefully you did that in your vocab. Sweating so hot, like you're melting. It's the most uncomfortable thing to be sweltering. The heat of injustice and oppression. Injustice and oppression are very emotionally charged words. And then he talks about children. Now, whenever my 4 little children. Now, when we're studying English, whenever you come across children being mentioned, it brings up all sorts of, if you think of stereotypes, it brings all sorts of images to mind of innocent, sweet little things. And the idea that children should be subject to segregation, racial segregation, should be made second-class citizens because of the colour of their skin. Because we're saying that applies to children, that's much more emotional, isn't it? Because as human beings, we sort of believe that children should be protected. It's kind of a part of our instinct, isn't it, to protect children? So whenever you see children mentioned, it's for a reason. It's to tug at your heartstrings and make you have an emotional response. And he uses this, my 4 little children. My 4 little children. Should they be made to suffer? No. I think that's just beautiful. That really makes it real, doesn't it? It really makes us understand that this just simply isn't fair. Children aren't born racist, are they? And then he uses this adjective to describe the racists in Alabama, vicious racists, which is opinionated, but it's also quite emotional again, isn't it? Vicious. It's violent. They're so racist. They are violent, and vicious is kind of, really cruel and evil and violent. And the governor of Alabama, his lips are dripping with these words, like he's salivating, like he loves these words. He loves the words interposition and nullification. So he loves standing in the way of justice. And then again, these little children, little boys and little girls, able to join hands together as brothers and sisters. I think that's a beautiful bit of emotive language. If we're going through our fear cat, it's quite a good impression, I think. We've got address the audience. Well, he says, I have a dream, I have a dream, I have a dream. He doesn't actually say I'm talking to you in this extract, but he does use it elsewhere. Rhetorical questions. There are no rhetorical questions actually in here. No single question mark in this bit, but obviously we've got repetition, and we do have rule of 3 in here as well. So the next task for you guys is to, let me just get the PowerPoint back up. Okay, look over the notes you've made. Which 3 techniques do you think are used most in Martin Luther King Jr.'s speech? Do that now. Which 3 techniques do you think are used most? And then I'll put up which 3 I think it is. Do it now. Oh, well, that looks good, doesn't it, Miss Corbishley? That's really nice, the way that doesn't fit on the screen. I've done well there. Give me a minute. There we go. Hey. Obviously, repetition. If you didn't get repetition, why not? Why not? Why not? Emotive language, yeah. And addressing the audience. He does say I have a dream that we can do this. So what I need you to do now is just create your own example of each of these techniques. So if you were to be writing a speech, what kind of things could you repeat? I just want you to create your own examples of some emotive language. Create your own examples of addressing the audience. I've said a few things, haven't I, about children suffering, or I'm here to speak to you today about something that we need to do. The pressure is on us. So 1, 2, 3. Can you just write down 3 examples? So 1 for repetition, 1 for emotive language, and 1 for addressing the audience, just so that you understand what those techniques actually are. So pause the video and do that now, please. Thank you. And that is it for today. That is all you need to do today. Tomorrow you'll have your spelling test on the vocabulary that I set for you yesterday, and Mrs. Thirlby has set your spelling test, so she'll respond to you on that. Thursday this week you have your library lesson. So next Tuesday we're going to go through the Martin Luther King speech in a little bit more detail, and I'm going to get you to think about writing your own analysis of it, and then have a go at writing your own speech as well. So your sort of homework, as it were, is to, sorry, I'm fiddling with the monitor, is to have a think about what you might want to write a speech about. There's quite a lot going on in the world at the moment. Obviously COVID-19, I think we're all a bit COVID-19'd out, aren't we? But there's lots going on in terms of education. Loads of people have opinions, don't they, at the moment? What's best for children? What's best for children? Should you be in school? Should you be out of school? Should you have to do extra maths and English to catch up on what you've missed out on? Or do you still need to be doing your PE and drama and music and art as well? How about the Black Lives Matter movement? How about racism today? The institutional racism of the Metropolitan Police in London has been in the news, hasn't it? There's also sexism still abounding. Or is the feminist movement over? Is it time that women shut up? Or do you have something less sort of massive that you'd like to talk about? Do you get annoyed by people putting fruit on pizza? My kids can't understand pineapple on pizza. I love it. Pineapple on pizza is the best. It can be literally anything. So have a think. Be thinking about what you might want to discuss. Electric cars. I don't know. Literally anything. I'm always really blown away by what students choose to write about. So have a look at Martin Luther King's speech. Feel free to Google lots of other public speaking speeches. I mean, Greta Thunberg is really, really good. Malala has made some amazing speeches as well. So I hope you enjoy this. Do email me, as always, with any questions or queries. I've been talking for way too long, so I shall go now, and I'll speak to you guys soon. Bye-bye.